Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Philippines, baby. I'm back. And I want to go over tomorrow. I want to go over every mistake possible that I did not make. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on. Just give me about 30 seconds to do something here. I want to go over every mistake. I want to go over how to get to Vietnam and back without making a single mistake because I now know, I now know how to get to and from Vietnam without an unforced error. I can't tell you how many things, how many circumstances arose to no fault of my own. If I could retrace every step I made and I could replay every word I said in order to get to Vietnam and back with each and every person in the Philippines and the people in Vietnam to get back to the Philippines. If I could somehow replay that from my mind's memory, from actual life, in other words, like if there was a way to hook into a computer and replay this information, you would not believe the incompetence, the outright negligence on behalf of, first of all, the people that vaccinate you, that don't know the rules. They have no understanding of the rules of vaccination and travel. The only thing those people do is put a needle in your arm. And they give you a card. And on the card, it's the date that you get your first dose and your second dose. But after that, their knowledge of how to travel to another country or what is necessary to travel to another country, there is no knowledge. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to do a full show on how to get to Vietnam and back because there's going to be I'm going to just count them out. There's going to be one thing with the vaccination, another thing with the travel to Vietnam. That's two items that are going to set you back at least 4 days and hotel expenses. At least 4 days in hotel. And that's just the first two. Then there's another one that has to do with immigration. That's going to set you back another day or two. That's 5 days. Then there's when you get to Vietnam. What can stop you from getting to Vietnam? No, after you get to Vietnam, what can stop you from getting back? A guy that's at the front of the plane and I'm in the back of the plane stopped me from getting back and cost me 6 days of time and monies in Vietnam. Because some guy, I don't know why or what, but the federal marshals came in with dogs and sniffing devices, took this guy off the airplane violently, semi-violently. Then they unloaded the aircraft, and then they searched the aircraft stem to stern with dogs, bomb sniffing apparatus, police, medical technicians. I don't know what. There was probably 18 or 20 people that came on the plane after they took this guy off the plane, which delayed the plane So we have the vaccination people that have no knowledge of what they're doing other than they put the needle in your arm. Then we have the ticket agent who has no knowledge at all of what's necessary to go to Vietnam and back. Nothing, zero. Suggestion. So then you have immigration who has no knowledge at all whatsoever, nothing, zero. But the answers they give you are as if they're experts. They are clear as day that something is no longer necessary. It was necessary a long time ago, but no longer. So we have no knowledge with the vaccination people, less knowledge with the people that sell you the tickets, $840 worth of tickets. Zero knowledge at immigration. And then 5 people in immigration back up the zero knowledge story. So that's seven people so far we asked questions. So we're going to give you all this information tomorrow. I'm going to write it down and make those 7 people. I went to Vietnam because it was basically I went to Vietnam. It's a good question. Basically, I just went to Vietnam because there was something there that I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Vietnam War Weapons Museum, number one, and I wanted to see what Vietnam was about. I always pictured Vietnam as jungles. That's the only thing my only knowledge of Vietnam was about jungles, and I figured, well, I'd like to see what. Okay, honey. I'd like to see what Vietnam looked like, the perimeter or the jungles and the Mekong Delta. I would like to see that because I grew up in an era. I grew up in the era of Vietnam, but I was not in the service. But all I remember reading about it, I remember the stories on television every night at 6 o'clock. They showed you pictures. I wanted to see it. And Saigon and Ho Chi Minh, the airport, that was where a lot of the stories came from. But Saigon and Ho Chi Minh International Airport is now a city that's probably 10 miles or more round. They make everything there. So I had no knowledge of what Vietnam was before I went there. I didn't really do much research. I saw that you could go to the Mekong Delta where they had the water weapons, water boats with the machine guns and rocket launchers and stuff on there. It was interesting to have seen something that I grew up with every day since I was born, almost. I mean, Vietnam started back in the 50s, the late 50s. I would have been about 3 or 4 years old, and it went on until I was 17 or 18 years old, every day news stories. So it was just something I wanted to see. And it's one of the closer places, and the prices for the airfare was somewhere in the same price as anywhere else in Malaysia. But I wanted to see Vietnam. That was what I wanted to do. And I did see some of those things. I wanted to see that also. Yeah, I did want to see that. But everything that could go wrong. Tomorrow's live stream is going to be about 3 hours long. Everything that could go wrong. Everything. There was if something could go wrong, or if someone could give me the wrong information, or if someone could sell me a ticket without telling me what the next step was, and then they get their $300 for the ticket, and then they tell me that there's something else that I would be at the counter, ma'am, if I buy this ticket. I'm not going to tell you. Tomorrow it's going to be detail for detail. I'm going to put a 3-hour live stream up of everything. You got to laugh. You gotta laugh because it's impossible for so many things to go wrong in 4 days, which turned out to be 14 days. I went away for 4 days. It took me 14 days to get back. And I had to work for dozens upon dozens of hours in that time to just get back because of the people selling you a ticket for $300. Because after the federal marshals came on, I'll tell you one quick story. So they come on the plane. There's a reason why I was delayed for 3 days, but that will be in tomorrow's live stream. So I was delayed for 3 days on my 4-day vacation. But I had enough time to get on a plane in Manila, go to Vietnam, get off the plane, and then get on another plane and come back an hour after my plane landed in Vietnam. I still would go. I would have never left customs. I would have just transferred from off the plane to the plane that came back from Vietnam. I would have been in Vietnam for 1 hour because of a 3-day delay, because of the federal marshals coming on the plane and causing a 3-hour delay in my schedule. I missed my return flight. And from there, it went downhill. Not bad. I mean, I was like, in the whole time I was in Vietnam, I never once got excited or lost my temper because it had nothing to do with the people. The ignorance of the people, of their skill sets, the ignorance in their skill sets, the ignorance of what they do is not their fault. It's bad training. It's the training procedure of the bureaucracy in the government of not just Vietnam, but the Philippines, across the board. The bureaucracy, that anything that has to do with travel, I don't care what it is, every mistake that could have been made, every person that didn't know how to perform their job and didn't research what the true and correct answer was when I asked them direct questions, they just don't know and they don't care. Their job, for instance, the woman at the ticket booth, her job is to sell tickets. So after my initial delay of 3 days, I missed my flight back. I was going to be in the airport for an hour. I was going to get out of customs, walk down stay in customs, walk down to departures, from entrance into customs in Vietnam, walk down from entrance into Vietnam to departures in Vietnam, get back on a plane and go back to Manila. I would still get my passport stamped, but I would have only been there for an hour. But because of, there was literally some sort of terrorist on my plane when we left Manila. They came in, bomb-sniffing dogs, sniffing the machines with the sniff of the federal marshals. There were people in spacesuits that were coming in, for germ warfare type stuff. So when this happens, okay, so I missed my 1:30 a.m. check-in for my boarding pass. So I go in the morning. I'm in the airport. I stayed in the airport because by the time I got off the plane, by the time I got settled in to try to get another ticket that in the middle of the night, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. So what I did was I went to a hotel and then I stayed in this freaking clean hotel, but no hot water, no internet. But it was very clean. There was no smell in the bathroom. The towels, the one towel was clean, but it was just a dump. So I go back in the morning and I said to the lady, look, I want to go back to Manila. Yes, sir. Passport. You need You need a the thing. I'll go through every piece of information you need step by step tomorrow. I'll go through everything. There won't be anything that would be left out. I have to write this down in a book. I could do it, but I'm going to be going back and forth. So I said to the lady, it's I don't know. I checked out of the hotel 10 o'clock, and I go back to the counter. Now I have Cebu Pacific. So there's another thing that could, if it could go wrong, it could go wrong. I had a Murphy's Law. I had a Murphy's Law happen to me. If it could go wrong, it went wrong. If it couldn't go wrong, it went wrong. If someone couldn't make a mistake, they made a mistake. If you ask them a direct question for something that this is all they do all day long, they don't do anything else. They sit at the counter and they sell tickets. I'll eventually write the airline a letter. I did get compensated for my Cebu Pacific ticket, and I'll go into how great they are with Cebu Pacific is freaking aces. They're they bend over backwards to try to make things right for you. And the actual lady in Vietnam who sold me the ticket, who really, she cost me $175. Once she realized she didn't make a mistake. This is the whole thing. She did not make a mistake. She did her job, but when I asked her a direct question, she didn't answer the question. It's all she does all day. I asked her a direct question. Here, I'm going to give you the question. Hey, Jim, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to give you the question that at 11:30 the next morning, I got there. I go to buy a ticket. I don't know when the flight is. Probably for 2:30 in the morning again the next day. Ma'am, I missed my flight on the Cebu Pacific Airlines. This is where Murphy's Law comes in. Yes, sir. I said, but I want to, if you miss a flight in Cebu Pacific, for any reason, you don't have to call them up, you don't have to notify them, you don't have to. I'm going to give this all to you tomorrow in steps. You just miss your flight for whatever reason. You could have overslept, there could be a storm, doesn't matter. Cebu Pacific, you miss your flight, you go to the ticket agent in Cebu Pacific in Manila or any place, Cebu Pacific, you give them the ticket of the flight that you did not get on, and they give you another ticket for free for another date. Any date you want, any date they have available. They're great, Cebu Pacific. So when I went to the woman in Vietnam and I said, ma'am, I have this ticket for Cebu Pacific. I missed my flight, but I know I can get a new flight. No, sir. Well, but this is the ticket agent that handles Cebu Pacific, right? Yes, sir. So why can I not get another flight? It wasn't my fault. They knew all about the delay. It must have went through their computer, I guess. So we're Vietnamese Airlines, but we handle Cebu Pacific ticket schedules, but we cannot make you a new ticket for Cebu Pacific. This is Murphy's Law. So I'm sitting there looking at the lady, I'm going, but you're the counter that I give the ticket to get my boarding pass. Yes, sir. But we are Vietnamese/Philippines Airlines. We are not Cebu Pacific. What you'll have to do is buy a new ticket. Okay. So, I mean, that's what I got to do. I know that Cebu Pacific is going to make the ticket good, but they're not going to make the ticket good that day on the 20th. They're not going to make the ticket good that day on the 20th. They're going to make the ticket good when I get to a Cebu Pacific office, because I've already dealt with them once. They're great people. So she says, how many dong was it? 7 million dong. 7 million dong. She goes, you'll have to give me 7 million dong. No, 3.7 and 3.6. Yeah, 7.4 million dong. So that's like $350. So this is another thing, Murphy's Law. So I said, well, I don't have 1 million dong. I only have 1 million dong. She goes, well, you'll need 7.4 million dong. I said, okay. Where's the ATM? So I go to the ATM machine. The ATM machine works fine, but the ATM machine says, how many dong do you want? Hey, WTF, that was a great show. That was a fantastic show. I have some things I want to talk to you about when Aloe gets back. We're gonna do some things. That was. I'm only halfway. I'm only halfway through your show right now. I'm about 2/3 through your show. I'm up to. This is the part I'm up to. That was a classic show that you put on. I have it on 2 different channels. It was an amazing. That's, I could be blamed for that, because had I been in the Philippines, none of that would have happened. That's true. That's the law of cause and effect. It goes beyond karma. Had I been in the Philippines, everybody that we know, Aloe, you, me, the guy who's going to eventually eat the raw crow, and we're going to play some Jim Morrison Backdoor Man music too tomorrow at the beginning of the show. That guy, I think he lives in Gaytanian Island. That everything would have been different had I been in the Philippines. None of this would have happened. So this is the law of cause and effect. That's why I didn't get upset about anything. I never even, believe it or not, I never even said like, what the, never. Because none of it was anybody's fault. They're just trained wrong. You're going to get mad at a woman that has no training at a job. She is trained to look at your passport and give you a ticket if your passport is okay. But so to say good morning to WTF, thanks for stopping by. Somehow you got to get me if you'd like, your phone number, so that I could talk to you like I can talk to Aloe, either on Skype or on Facebook. And there were some things I want to talk to you about. Nothing important, and really nothing that had to do with anything this week, but I have some ideas. So I want to run it by you. Maybe you and Aloe and I will have a 3-way call, because Aloe and I are going to meet and in the real life, and we're going to do some things. So if you could, I know that you trust me. Everybody that knows me trusts me. So if you would, just to run some things by you that I don't want to put on YouTube yet, but I'm going to put it on YouTube. So thank you for stopping by. So to not to change the subject, but I want to digress back to the Philippines Airlines / Vietnam Airlines sales clerk. So I give her the Cebu Pacific ticket. She says there's no Cebu Pacific ticket agent in Saigon International Airport or Ho Chi Minh International Airport, which is the same airport. The 2 names for the same airport, which I'll go over tomorrow because it gets confusing where you are. I said to the woman, word for word, ma'am, if I buy this ticket now, is there anything else that I'm going to need? Because I've already had 4 days of delays in Manila. I was stuck because of the 7 previous people that gave me bad information. You all right, honey? You're gonna go outside, or you staying in here? You want to say hello? Just yell out, hello. My girl Daisy. She was God. She was a godsend when I was in Vietnam. Oh, she took care of so many things for me. Simple things that I couldn't do because I wasn't here, and I didn't have access to internet all the time. She's a sweetheart. So I'm in. So you asked the woman a direct question. You ask her a direct question, ma'am. If I buy this ticket for 7.4 million dong, $300, $350, a dong, 400 dong, 1 peso was 400 dong. So 7.4 million, whatever that comes out to. I just ordered dong. So I go to the ATM machine and I order 5 million dong was the most it would give you. 5 million dong is like $120. So I had to pay twice. I had to pay a bank fee. That's right off the bat. That's wrong because I have a lot of dong. I have a big amount of dong in my bank account. I have millions, 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 and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dong in my bank account. You wouldn't believe how many dong I got. So, ma'am, if I buy this ticket, is there anything else that I have to do? Anything at all? I mean anything. Do I have to do any? No, sir. You present this ticket to the ticket agent. I forgot when the ticket was. I'll look that. I have all the tickets. I have lots of. For what I had to buy 5 tickets, I think I got 8 tickets. So you present this ticket to the ticket agent, you get on the plane, you go home. Because I told her what happened in Manila and why I was delayed for 4 days in Manila. I swear this is where I wish I could just play it back from my head onto the screen. Then you would know how truthful and how absurd, how obscure, how the level of ignorance, the level of miscommunication, the level of poor training on behalf of Vietnamese Airlines, Cebu Pacific Airlines personnel, ticket agents for Philippines Airlines, all of it. Bureau of Immigration, the people that give you the vaccination, and of course the people who sell you the tickets in the Philippines to go there and back. Ma'am, is there anything I have to do besides buy this ticket? No, sir. You buy the ticket, you present it to the ticket agent. No, this is going back and forth 3 times. Okay. I go downstairs, I get you. I don't know. I had to get two loads of dong. I had some dong, but I didn't have enough dong. Dong is their version of money, and like I said, 1 peso is 400 dong. So if you have 100 pesos, that's 40,000 dong. So you could pay, they tell you give me 90,000 dong, you're paying $8 for something, but it sounds like a lot of money. Give me 90,000. You want 90,000 dong? Are you serious? 90,000 dong for this? But then you look at it, it's only $4. It's hard to fathom. I mean, you could pay $1 million for something. You think you're paying a lot of money, and you're paying nothing. So she sells me the ticket. She hands me the ticket. And after she hands me the ticket, she said, 13 seconds, 5 seconds, 11 seconds after she hands me the ticket, after she tells me I don't need anything else, she hands me the ticket. I put it in this bag. Of paperwork that I have. These are my tickets. These are my tickets and my vaccination and my COVID tests and things like that. This is just the papers you need to go back and forth to Vietnam, less about 6 pages that I threw out. She hands me the ticket from Vietnam to Manila. guaranteeing there's nothing else that I need. She hands me the ticket. Here you go, sir. And I take the ticket and I open up my clasp and I put the ticket in my clasp. And now I have the ticket in my clasp. I close my clasp and she says to me, sir, can I see your PCR test? No, she says to me, sir, can I see your vaccination card? So I give her my vaccination card. Oh, this looks good, sir. All you need now is a PCR test. But ma'am, I just asked you if there was anything else. No, sir, there's nothing else. You just need to go get a PCR test. But ma'am, I just asked you if there was anything else at all that I needed, and you said no. That's right, sir. Just this ticket and a PCR test. So that's 3 things. Not 1, 3. The vaccination card and the PCR test. Yes, sir. So why didn't you tell me that? Because it makes a difference in this long story that I'm going to tell you tomorrow. The incompetence of these people, the ignorance, the piss poor training of these people goes beyond anybody's imagination. So she goes, what difference does it make? I says, it makes a big difference. Now, I didn't tell her this because it's none of her business, but on the flight from Bohol to Manila 4 days ago, 4 days, because there was a 4-day delay, I got on the flight feeling like a champ, and before I got off that plane, I was sick as a dog. I mean, deathly sick. No headache and no diarrhea, but weak, dizzy, a fever. The sweat was just pouring off my face. This all happened in 3.5 hours. I got on the plane feeling like, I was 100%, and I got off the plane as sick like you get that flu, whatever it was. I got it, and it hit hard. So, but I didn't tell her that. So she goes, well, you're going to need to get a PCR test. So in Manila, they wanted me to drive an hour, get in a cab and go to Makati Hospital for a PCR test. Not knowing, this is another of the incompetence level. They didn't know I don't need a PCR test to leave the Philippines. No longer, since May 15th, that's been voided out. So I said, ma'am, where do I get the PCR test? She goes, well, you go downstairs. It's on the first floor. I'm on the 2nd floor where you buy the tickets. Okay, how do I get there? So it's at the end of the building. You go down the elevator, you get off, and the medical technicians, they have a makeshift setup in the hallway for PCR tests. So I'm the first person there because it's 6 when I'm the first person there. And the guy puts the swab in my nose, and he says it'll take 30 minutes, and a half hour later he goes, sir, you failed. I said, that's good, right? No, sir, that's bad. I said, well, when you fail, it means you don't have COVID. If you test negative, that's fail. Negative is fail. No, sir. Positive is fail. But you just said I failed. Yes, sir. So I don't have COVID. No, sir, you have COVID. Positive, when you test positive, you have COVID. If you pass negative, you failed, you don't have COVID. But you could play with mince words back and forth forever. So I said to the man, sir, do I have COVID or do I not have COVID? Yes, sir, you have COVID. And there you go. Because they don't speak English. Wait, they don't speak a word of English. So I says, okay. The test cost 150,000 dong. Again, it's not much money, about $15. So like 50,000 dong is 55,000 dong is $3. So 150,000 dong is $10. Yes, that's right. You are right. See, this man knows. You don't need a PCR test if you had a booster. But they wouldn't give me a booster because I didn't have 90 days till after my second vaccine. You are 100% right. He's 100% correct. If you have a booster, you don't need a PCR. But I was sick. It wouldn't have mattered, but I was sick. But if I would have had the booster, I wouldn't have had to take the PCR test. But I still would have got on the plane with COVID, according to them. But I didn't have COVID. Whatever it was I had, it tested positive. But had I had the booster, you don't get the PCR test. But I didn't. And that's another part of the ignorance on behalf of the counter person at Vietnamese Airlines / Philippines Airlines, the person who sold me the ticket. She looked at my vaccination card, but she didn't see it, and she didn't ask me about the booster because there's no booster on the card. She looked at my One Health Pass, and there's no booster on the One Health Pass. So it's another thing that you need that takes 2 hours to fill out if you don't know how to do it. So I take the test and I failed, which is really, I was positive I have COVID. So I don't have COVID because I don't know what COVID is, but I couldn't have gotten COVID because I don't get COVID, okay? As if I know what COVID is. But I don't know what COVID, no one knows what COVID is. So but that man is right. If I had the booster, I wouldn't have had to take the PCR test. So now the man who gave me the swab, and that doesn't hurt. Those people that say they stick it up in your nose, it only goes up to about here. It just feels like when you clean your nose properly with a Q-tip, it just feels like that. It's no big deal. They don't jam it into your brain or anything like that. You don't even know that you got it. If 30 seconds after your test is over, the whatever sensation the Q-tip swab made is gone. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't hurt. So the man who gave me the test, very nice young man, said, "So here's your result." So I went to the person who I paid the money for because he was going to continue making tests for other people. And I said to the man, I says, "All right, so what should I do now?" And he says, "Sir, you go to a hotel and you self-quarantine for 5 or 6 days. And you come back, you take the test again." So I says, "Does it have to be any now this is more Murphy's Law. Any hotel, anywhere, any hotel in the city. Do I need proof that no, sir, just go away for 6 days. Just go find a hotel." And he knows that you're not going to stay in the hotel. You got to go out. You got to get food, right? Okay, so I said, "Okay, thank you." And he goes, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" I said, "Well, I mean, do you know a good hotel? Because the one I was in last night was a real dump." He goes, "Just walk around and ask." Because my mistake, another mistake, my mistake was the first night I had no choice but to go to dumpy hotels. So when I got back to the city, I went to a couple more dumpy places, and they all wanted 350,000 dong. And I would look at the room, and I'm going, I'm not paying. It's only $18, but it had no cold water and no internet. I said, "No, I want hot water and I want internet." "No, sir. For that is 800,000 dong, which goes back to $40 a night." This is Murphy's Law happening. This does non-stop Murphy's Law for 14 days. So I went into another dumpy place, 380,000 dong, no cold, no hot water, no internet. So I said, "You know what? Let me go into that nice hotel over there. Beautiful glass entrance, very big flowers in the front, stuff like that. Beautiful desk." And I walked in and I met Nung, the girl at the desk. I said, "Ma'am, Do you have a inexpensive hotel? Do you speak English? Yes. Nung was a world-class traveler. What a sweetheart. Her and I talked for hours. Hours we talked for in the course of the time I was in the hotel for several days. She has been to Malaysia for a year, Kuala Lumpur, Dubai, the Arab Emirate, and she lived in Australia for 4 years. Well-educated woman. That's why we had stuff to talk about. She talked to me about all the places that she went, and I told her about New York City. So she says, "Sir, we have a room for 450,000 dong, which is like $25, $24, $25." So I said, she showed me the room, but it's got two huge double beds. I don't need two double beds. I need one bed. I need a single bed. So I know they're going to have a less expensive room. So I go back down and I says, "Do you have a less expensive room?" So she had a room for 400,000 dong, which is $20. So I said, "Okay, I'll take that. I'll be here for several days." Lo and behold, not only does the room have hot water, but it's so hot you can't go underneath the hot water. You gotta mix some cold in with it. Not only does it have 4 clean towels and a heavy-duty floor towel and unlimited amounts of soap and shampoo for clothes and hair, clothes soap, shampoo, body lotion, and body soap. 4 different kinds. There was over 100 packets of soap. You'll see it in one of my videos. 100 packets of soap, 20 toothbrushes, packages of Q-tips, and inexpensive combs. Wi-Fi and internet, free internet, great high speed 5G internet, and it had TV, but it's in Vietnamese, so unless you just want to watch something. But so I get that room, and that room was. So I go and I says, "I only just want one bed." So she had one for $20. So the next morning I go have breakfast, and breakfast is on my door handle. A full on 3 big fresh farm eggs, 2 hoagie rolls, like an Italian bread, about 6.5, 7 inches long. 2 of them, they're that big, and their bread is better than any bread, better than New York City Italian bread. That's how good the bread in Vietnam is. A package of some sort of milk, Daisy. You put it in the refrigerator. Thanks, honey. So it was some sort of a milk product. I don't know, but it was like a breakfast milk. It also had, and like 5 giant pieces of pickle, about 3 inches long by 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch, and pickles, and a water and chopsticks, and some kind of sauce. All that's breakfast. Comes at 7 o'clock in the morning. They knock on your door. I'm going, it's not 12 o'clock yet. I know that because I'm still tired. Then at lunchtime, they came back with another package of, "Hey, Scott, he's a man's man. Never doubt he's a man's man. Thank you. But at least I'm not a ladyboy lover." I'm back. Somebody said on that channel the other day, Fazio is the new alpha male once again. I thought that was the fun. And actually, the guy who said that was one of my biggest detractors on that show. To digress off of the Vietnamese Murphy's Law fiasco, I was reading the comments. I don't normally watch that show. I don't watch it. At 2 or 3 minutes, I tune in. I'll pass through it, and I don't watch that show. But the other night, on Friday night, I had a ticket to leave 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock check-in, I think it was. I get confused. So I watched that show from beginning to end, and towards the end of the show, there were people going, Fazio is once again the alpha male of YouTube. No longer. He now takes the alpha male position back. Fazio must be laughing his ass off. We know Fazio's watching this show. And I got to tell you, since March, I haven't watched a total of 12 minutes of his show since March. And I don't watch his show. I don't watch Richie Buong too. People tell me, oh, he made a great video. I don't watch that kind of stuff. I am not into that lifestyle. I'm not into anything that has to do with that lifestyle. But Friday night, I'm in the airport. Oh, I know why I stayed in the airport. I could have went back to the hotel, but when I got into the cab, there was a freaking typhoon. It was raining as hard as any rain that anybody's ever seen in their life. When I was in the cab, I got in the cab, it was, dry and sunny out, and by the time we went the mile or so to the airport, we were in some of the worst stormy weather I've ever seen in my life. I said, you know what? I'm not going to leave the hotel. First of all, I have to leave the hotel, get in a cab, and then get out of the cab and get into the building. I'm already sick, or I have been sick for days. So I stayed in the airport that night. You're allowed to sleep in the airport. There were hundreds of people sleep in the airport. I mean, 500,000 people sleep in the airport every night waiting for their flight for the next day. So it's not a big deal. And you could charge your phone. So I throw that show on, and there were people going, I know Fazio's watching. And just by chance, I don't watch that show. It doesn't matter. People tell me, send me a message, put that show on. I'm going, I don't watch that crap. Not something I watch. Not even interested in it. I got Miss Daisy May over here. She's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your entire life. What do I need to watch that kind of nonsense on YouTube for? So I put this, Fazio's once again the alpha male of YouTube. Wait until Fazio does a skit on this, which probably I won't. I don't have that knowledge how to do editing. I would if I knew how to do editing, but so many other people have done such a great job. I don't need to go there. So I watched it. I was in the airport. It's late at night. There's 500 people sleeping. You're going to see a video of the airport, how big it is, but it's like an echo chamber. There's 500 people sleeping all around me, and I'm laughing so hard that you could see people like, they brought sleeping bags, they brought air pillows, air mattresses, sheets, blankets. They're looking, they're going, why is that guy laugh? I'm laughing, the tears are coming out of my eyes. I thought I'm going to myself, holy macaroni, look at this. No wonder that guy supports him 100%. He stands behind him 100%. I wouldn't want to stand in front of him. So, oh, God. So that guy's got to eat some crow. But he doesn't. He makes excuses for this. Not the guy who made the show. The other guy who stands behind. I stand behind him 100%. I stand behind everything he does. And now all of a sudden it's in the form of comedy. No. We know why you invited him to the house. We know why. So I'm laughing so hard. I couldn't. I'm going, this is not real. And everybody was going, shut the live stream down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Are you nuts? You're going to destroy your channel. That's not what the show was about. The show was about, feelings. Feelings. So feelings. That was what the show was about. So digressing back. So I failed my COVID test. I go to the hotel. They put a package of food that you can't eat for breakfast. They put a package of food that's too big for lunch. Lunch was a piece of fish about that big, round, and about that thick. And a piece of chicken that big around and that thick. More cucumbers, rice, a mix of soy sauce and maybe patis, and like a ginger sauce, a bottle of water, and a vegetable. I don't know what kind of vegetable it was. And dinner, the same thing. And that was all for $20 a night. So now, 6 days goes by. I'm in Vietnam still. I found this beautiful hotel. So now I still have phlegm in my system because I was literally, I don't know if it was COVID or not, because I don't think they know what COVID is, but I'm sick. I was sick when I took the test. I mean, I had a fever, no headache, no stomach ache, no diarrhea, but I was sick as a dog. I was weak. I could only walk about 100 feet. I was out of breath. So when he said that I failed the test, I can understand that. It was no argument. There's nothing to argue about. I am sick, and whatever was in my system showed positive for COVID. Maybe it was COVID. Who knows? Who knows what it is? 6 days goes by. Now, in that time, I had gone back to the airport to try to change tickets. This airport is huge. We're talking the airport is 800 feet long and 4 floors. Okay, and the men who do the testing are on the ground floor of what would be the east end of the building, the 2 men that did the testing. What are the chances of me running into those guys? Because they told me that I had a self-quarantine. What are the chances of me? There's 40,000, 50,000 people in the airline terminal. The terminal Ho Chi Minh Saigon International Airport is huge. It's 4 floors. There's hundreds of flights every day. There's got to be 30 or 40,000 people in the building in the afternoon. What are the chances of me getting on an elevator with those 2 guys? And on a random time slot. They're supposed to be working to doing COVID tests. What are the chances of me? That's another Murphy's Law. What are the chances of me getting into an elevator? I walk into the elevator and I look at them and they look at me. We look at each other. We don't say a word. I look down at the floor because I'm in shame. I was ashamed of myself. I was supposed to be in the hotel, but I wanted to get tickets. They looked down. I guess they looked at the floor too. They didn't say a word, but I mean, I walk into the elevator and I walk right into the 2 of their faces. They knew who I was. It wasn't like they didn't know. I was probably the only person that failed that test all week, the COVID test. So I couldn't change I couldn't get anybody to do what I wanted to do with the ticket work that I had. I wanted to see if I could get compensated for my Cebu Pacific ticket from a different person, not the Vietnamese Philippines airline ticket agent. Maybe there's somebody higher than her. So I went to the managerial position of Philippines/Vietnamese Airlines, and I sat with them for about 15 minutes, and they couldn't do anything for me. But those 2 guys, the 2 technicians that gave me the test when I failed, I mean, the elevator door was boom, and I walked right into their faces. So now I go back to the hotel. Dinner is on my door. And when I get back, I had my dinner, and I talked to Daisy, and I talked to a few other people, and it was like anything that could go wrong, anything at all, didn't matter. So now 6 days passes, and I have to go get the test again, and they're gonna know I was not quarantined in a hotel room for 6 days, because what hotel gives you breakfast, lunch, and dinner on your door for $20? $20, all inclusive, 3 meals a day, nice meals. If you had to go to a restaurant, you would spend 75,000 dong, $6 per meal. How are they giving you three $6 meals for $20 a day, and a hotel room, and hot water, and soap, and toothbrushes, and Q-tips, and clean towels, and internet? I don't know how they're doing it, unless, now this is possible, unless I was not supposed to get those meals, which is very possible, and only an upper graded room, maybe a $75 or $60 room, got those meals. But because I had so much fun talking to Nung is the lady who I asked out to lunch, I got 3 meals a day. So maybe she just said, you give him the meals. I don't know. Flying Circus. Hello, Mr. Fazio. Flying Circus, that horse, the caballo video that you made, that was very good. Thank you for passing that along to me. I'm sure he's going to love it. But I thought he had a bad back. How can he be riding a horse if he has a bad back? I don't understand that. I know it's only a cartoon, but it's not truthful. It's not true to life. I thought you were more like DNC with his videos are more true to life. LOL, laughing my ass off. Scott Del Fuego. Looks like I was miraculously allowed back into the Philippines. Looks like your house in the background. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the guy who's supposed to eat crow in a minute. The guy who's supposed to eat crow. If I got out of the Philippines, if I got the motion of consideration, he said, I will eat crow if he gets his motion. I'm going to stop him from leaving the Philippines. I'm going to stop him from getting back into the Philippines. He'll never get back into the Philippines. Last week when I said I was in Vietnam, he laughed. He has this heinous laugh. He thrives on sinister thoughts. He thrives on it. This is his life. He has no other life. Let's just call a spade a spade. If it wasn't for negativity, there'd be no tivity at all. So I'm back in the testing facility again. That the test takes 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes for the results. I don't know how they get the results. There was all kinds of equipment. You put stuff in. It was a machine. It was made out of stainless steel. It had lights on it. Things flashed. So I walked in and I said to the young man who did the testing, not the young man who takes the money, sir, it's been 6 days. May I take the test again? He goes, yes, sir. So he said, you just pay over there. So I always keep at least 300,000 dong in my pocket. You can't do anything without 300,000 dong. If you go out for a meal, it's 75,000 dong without a soda. Sodas are 30,000 dong. You need 100,000 dong if you go to a restaurant, if you're going to have a regular dinner. And I did that too sometimes. But, so I give the guy 150,000 dong, and I give him my passport and my vaccination card. And he says, all right, go sit down over there. There's nobody there. It's nobody there. I'm the only person there at that time. And he goes like this. But he don't go all the way in. He only went up to about here. I don't know why. The first time he went up to about here. And the second one he went up to about over here, like that. Just about 3/4 of the way. I don't know. Maybe they can do it any way they want. Either way, there was lawai in my nose. There was moisture in my nose because I was still sick. And I sit down, because I was sitting next to the young man that did the test. I sit down in a chair about 6 feet away. I sit down, And he goes, "Sir, you passed." Fuck. Come on, dude. The first time it took 30 minutes. This time it took 90 seconds. I passed, and he goes like this, like that. I had a guardian angel in the testing facility, and the other guy that I looked at the other guy, and the other guy goes like this. The two of them, they were in on it. It was a conspiracy, I tell you. So I'm going, "Are you serious? I passed?" "Passed, sir. Good luck." And so I picked up my passing paper for my COVID test, and that was it. I left. But there were so many things that could go wrong. Those guys could have said, they could have been, I don't, first of all, I'm going to go through this again. The people's personalities, their demeanor, their lifestyle, their methodology in which they live life are the kindest, gentlest, meekest people I ever met. Cab drivers are a bunch of thieving bastards. No matter what country you're in, don't trust one of them. Never do you ever trust a cab driver in any country. But the people in Vietnam, the people that serve you in the restaurant, the people that you ask directions to, the lady in the two pharmacies that I went to, the museum that I got 34-minute video of all Russian equipment that was used to fight Pol Pot in 1975 to 79. Scott Del Fuego explained to me he was a dictator, and all the equipment that they used to fight Pol Pot, all the Russian equipment, MiG-21, that's going to be the name of the video, MiG-21 actual. All of the people, everywhere I went, were nice and kind and gentle and courteous, and they just don't speak English, no English. So when the guys, we all had a laugh because we all knew what happened. Okay, and I was feeling better, but I wasn't 100%, and so we all laughed about that because we all knew what happened. I don't know what happened, but those were not the only people that did that for me in Vietnam. There were counter people that bypassed stuff also. So now I pass the test. That's Friday. I pass. And now I got to get a ticket. So I go back to the Vietnamese Philippines Airlines, who I had the manager of the whole place there a few days before, the day I ran into the fellas in the elevator. And I said to the lady, "Here's my ticket." Now, she knew she screwed up. I mean, there was no doubt that when I asked her, "Is there anything else?" and she said no. And then she tells me I need a PCR test. She just cost me $175. Same lady. So I said, "Ma'am, I passed the PCR test." She says, "Oh, that's very good." She spoke a little bit of English, a very small amount of English. And I says, "Okay, so can I get a partial refund on this ticket?" "Yes, sir." So she figured out that I owed her, I lost half the price of the ticket, which was 3,710,000 dong. But I was dongless at this point. I had no dong. I was down to about, I had less than $1 million dong in my pocket, and I never like to. I don't like to walk around Vietnam with less than 2 million dong in my pocket, because you never know. You get into a cab, it costs you 100,000 dong just for a cab. So now I got to go get more dong. So I go downstairs and get dong, and now I learned how to use the ATM machine. It only wants to give you 4 million dong, but you can request a different amount. So I requested, I needed 3.7 million dong. I had 2 million dong. So I only needed 5 million dong, but I got 6 million dong $6 million just in case. Luckily, I did because Daisy, I forgot all about bringing back Daisy and her mom presents. I'll show those to you tomorrow. I'll show you what things cost tomorrow. So I go back upstairs and I said to the lady, now, if I give you this money and you give me a new ticket, is there anything else that I'm going to need after I give you the money for the ticket? Because you just cost me $3.7 million. I don't want to do this again. No, sir. You're all set. I was not all set. I gave her the dong. I gave her the good dong, too, the $3.7 million dong. And she gives me the ticket, and I go to walk away. She goes, sir, do you have your One Health Pass? Are you serious? Are you serious? Yes, sir. You need a One Health Pass. But, ma'am, didn't I just ask you if there was anything else I needed? Yes, sir. And you said there was not? Yes, sir. But you need a One Health Pass. Why didn't you tell me that before I gave you my dong? I mean, if you wanted dong, I'd have given you the dong, but tell me what I'm gonna need after I give you the dong. I mean, you just can't have my dong without telling me why I'm giving you my dong. I don't like just giving people dong for no reason. I gave you the dong for a reason. And you took my dong in good faith and you betrayed me. You took my dong and you lied to me. She didn't understand a word of what I said. But she knew I wasn't happy. So I said, so what is this One Health Pass thing? Sir, you look online. I said, no, you show me. Show me what to do. What is this One Health Pass thing? Well, it's a form that you got to fill out that you can't fill out because you can't have half the information that's necessary on the form. Got to get from the airlines. You can fill out some of it, but you can't fill out the whole card. So I open up the One Health Pass website. It's One Health Pass dot, I don't know, Vietnam dot something. I forgot. It's One Health Pass. It's One Health Pass. So I'm going, ma'am, you took my dong and you didn't tell me I needed this. I mean, can I get my dong back? No, ma'am, no, sir. Okay, so now I can't fill it out. So I get the supervisor back again. They all know me by now because they've been helping me for 3 days. They did everything they could. They're just not trained to do their job. So the woman comes over and gives me, she comes out from behind the glass wall and we sit down and she and I filled out the paperwork, the dong, the One Health Pass, but I can't fill it all out. I said, ma'am, I don't have this information. Yes, sir. In the morning, when you get on the plane, the girl at the counter, the hostess that greets the passengers where you get your boarding pass, she'll fill it out for you. And I said, really? She goes, yes, sir, that's their job. I says, okay. You know, ma'am, that woman took my dong and told me there wasn't anything else I needed. Maybe you should, like, the supervisor did speak English, but not a lot, but enough. Maybe you should train her a little differently. So we sell tickets. Now it's what they do. They sell tickets. They don't fill out One Health Passes except they help me. I'm sure they help other people. They're very nice people. But we sell tickets. I said, yes, I understand that. But when I asked this woman if there was anything else I needed, she didn't tell me about the PCR test. Yes, sir. We thought you knew about that. But I didn't know about that. That's your job to tell me, no, sir, we sell tickets. So how would I know about the PCR test? Because you sell the tickets. She sold me the ticket. I gave her my dong. I mean, I did give a dong. And she sold me the tickets. And then, like, as she handed me the ticket, I started to walk away. She asked me if I had a PCR test. So she knew about the PCR test. Yes, sir. Maybe she forgot. I'm going, but I asked if there was anything else. I gave her dong. She gave me the ticket. I walk away. She goes, do you have a PCR test? She didn't forget. Maybe she forgot at that time. So now we're in a circular argument. I said, okay, ma'am, thank you very much. And I walked away because these people are not trained. But it's systemic. It's the people who sold my tickets in Bohol, the vaccination center in Bohol. I could tell you a story about that would last an hour. How incompetent, or is it ignorance, or is it poor training, or is it the fact that their memory retention after they test and get their degree to put needles in your arm, they forget all the information that they were taught. I don't know what it is, but these people are incompetent at the jobs that they have. They're not proficient. They're not, it's right across the board. Philippines, Vietnamese, everybody in between, every ticket agents, vaccination, the vaccination center, the airline hostess. So now I go downstairs and the lady fills out my One Health Pass. Is there anything else I need besides this? No, sir. Okay. I get online. And we went into the next Murphy's Law. Sir, do you have your exit clearance for Vietnam? I don't know what to say. I just talked to the supervisor and the sales clerk. This is going on 3 days. This is the third ticket that I bought, by the way. When I gave it a $3.7 million, that was the third ticket that I bought. I bought one from Cebu Pacific, one from Philippines/Vietnamese Airlines. That one went bust. Then I bought a third ticket. That's 3 tickets. Sir, do you have your Vietnamese exit clearance? I'm going to go through this tomorrow in great detail. And tomorrow I'm not going to be so courteous about the whole thing. I'm going to be a little bit more arrogant because this cost me a fortune in time and aggravation. Not so much money, but aggravation, because I actually got free ticket from Cebu, from Manila back to Bohol. That ticket was free. I got half the value of the ticket. I can still go to Cebu Pacific and try to get refunded for the ticket or a voucher for another ticket, from what I was told, for the ticket that I lost because they didn't have a ticket agent in Vietnam, so they're willing to give me a voucher for another ticket. So I'm at the counter now. It's 6:30 in the morning. I'm the first person online. I said, I don't understand. Yes, sir, you need an exit clearance for Vietnam, an exit clearance. I'm going, can you show me this online? I have an entrance visa. Yes, sir. No, you need an exit clearance. Can you show this to me online? So she takes out, or ticket agent comes out from behind the counter, and she shows me the page that says you need an exit clearance, but it doesn't say exit clearance, because she told me you can get this online for $25. And that's when I asked it to come and show me the exit clearance paperwork. It says entry exit visa clearance, which I had, because that's how I got into Vietnam. That's why I was delayed in Manila for 3 days. because I didn't have an entry-exit visa clearance. But she said you need an exit clearance. That's different than an entry-exit clearance. So on my entry-exit clearance, it says entry-exit visa clearance for Vietnam. That's what it says on the website. But she told me I needed an exit clearance, which is separate. That takes three to 15 days. I was like, no one told me this, so you need this. And that's just up to that point. It gets worse when I get to Manila. So I'll tell you about that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to start an early live stream. I'm going to read the comments now. Tomorrow I'm going to start an early live stream. It'll probably take 4 hours. I'll go through Murphy's Law in its entirety and what mistakes you don't have to make, because I have gone through every possible mistake. I don't know what else could be left. There wasn't anything that they didn't. Now, if you go online and ask what you need for Vietnam, I mean, how many people I asked? 8 people if I needed an entry visa into Vietnam. Daisy was sitting, Daisy's right here. She was in the Bureau of Immigration with me. Daisy said to me, Michael, do you need a visa to get into Vietnam? I said, I asked that lady who gave me my motion of consideration. I asked that lady who helped me with the secondary part of my motion of consideration. I asked the other lady who I gave the tickets to, and now I asked the supervisor at the Bureau of Immigration, do I need a visa to get into Vietnam? No, sir. Long time ago, but not now. So there's 5 people in that office that I asked. The vaccination people didn't know, and the ticket agent people didn't know. 7 people, not 8. 7 people didn't know. But I needed one. I'll go back to the comments. Today's fiesta. I have a video. I walked in to the fiesta next door, Nanai's house. Oh, she made some of the best food. Oh, she made no lechon this year. The COVID stopped so many people from doing big parties, but we had barbecued pulled pork. We had spare ribs, carrots mixed in with potatoes. There was white rice with gravy. Oh, she put out maybe 7 dishes, but of delicious food. So let me go back to the comments. Flying Circus is back to the big show Friday night. I think they exchanged rings. That guy reminds me of Jay Leno's son. The guy they call him the Chin. The Chin reminds me of Jay Leno's son. Exchanged more than that. Oh, they definitely did. Gives a new meaning to his singing, Don't Lose That Number. I vaguely remember it's a Steely Dan song, Ricky, Don't Lose That Number, but I don't know the words to know what the reference is. But yeah, that guy, the Chin, looked like Jay Leno's son. It would be it looked like a Jay Leno chin or Carly Simon. Carly Simon has that same manly chin. Further confirms what a total under-the-table scam all this testing is. Well, I was sick, Jim. I was sick. I was sick as a dog. Scott Del Fuego was here. He will confirm how sick I was. I was so sick, I got on the plane feeling like a champ, where I could walk 10 miles. And by the time I got off the plane, I was so sick, I had to rest walking down the corridor on the exit of the plane. The sweat was pouring off my brow. My legs were weak, even though I had just had a good meal. I was sick. But however, whatever it was that I had in my system, Scott explained, it could have caused a false positive because I had some kind of virus in my system. Could have been COVID. Who knows? But I didn't have the effects of COVID. I did not have a headache. My head never throbbed, even, nothing, zero, no headache. I didn't have a stomach ache, and I didn't have the runs. But I was weak, where I could only walk about 100 feet. I was out of breath, where I could just walk 150 feet or so, and then I had to stop and rest. I was sick. So as far as the testing, whatever was in me tested positive. The second time around, when it took 90 seconds for the test to come back, I think there was a little hanky-panky there. A man always has to carry... You got to carry a decent amount of dong when you're in Vietnam. Oh, God. Freaking... I was laughing because I bought a bunch of stuff for Daisy and her mom. Here. I have it right here. Did you take it out of my bag, honey? You sleeping, sweetheart? I'll take a... Let me show you what 90,000 dong gets you. Doesn't get you much. Actually, it's quite nice. But when you say, the lady goes, that's 90,000 dong. 90,000 dong? Are you kidding me? 90,000 dong for that? Well, I won't even show you 90,000. This is 225,000 dong. Vietnam, baby. This is a bag that Daisy asked for with a zipper. It's got a zipper. And this was 225,000 dong. So 225,000 dong. Divide 225 by 400. And that's how many pesos it is. So it's a beautiful bag. Look at the ornate on here. 100 pesos is 40,000 dong. So take that times 6. So it's 600 pesos. Would be about $12. This is about $10.85 for this bag. But it's 225,000 dong. You get to the cash register, and the 4 items were 925,000 dong. I'm going, you want $1 million dong? Are you serious? $1 million dong for that stuff? And the woman is going, sir, it's $1 million dong. 900, not $1 million, 925,000 dong. I'm going, you want 925,000 dong for that? Are you kidding? But I was joking with her. That looks like 100,000 dong. No, sir. They don't speak English, and they don't understand Western humor. It's a beautiful little bag, and it's what Daisy wanted, so that's what she got. It has a little pouch inside here. 225,000 dong, baby. Nothing's too good for my girl. You want an aspirin, honey?
Where's my bag?
Your bag? There you go.
I want.
Rice up by Aunt. You like it? She hasn't even seen it yet. You want the big one or the little one? You want the big one? You want the blue one or the brown one?
Oh, I like the blue one.
Where's the other ones?
Huh?
Where's the other bags?
I don't know, maybe it's up.
What?
I don't know.
I bought 4 bags.
Maybe it's so.
No, it did not.
Or you put in other...
No, I did not. Oh, yeah, there they are. Over there. I almost lost a $500,000 worth of bags. I had it in another bag. Whoa! Can I show the people with that? Look, here's my model, my dong model. Whoa, guapa! Yeah, baby. My dong model. She does model dong well, doesn't she? She's such a pretty girl. She was all aces when I was away. So, I get all of this stuff on the counter. She tells me 925. I never spent $1 million on a pocketbook before. It's not that much. So, but they have no humor. And so now I'm short. I'm short dong. I don't have enough dong. I only had, how much dong did I have? It was 925,000 dong. I think I had 900,000 dong, which is my fault because I never like to walk around with less than $1 million dong. And so I needed 25,000 dong, which is, oh yeah, okay, that's what it was. So 100 pesos gets you 20,000 dong. So I gave the woman 120 pesos, and that got me 30,000 dong, and then I got 6,000 dong change at the foreign exchange. But I did run out of dong for the first time in my life. I thought that was... I'm going to myself, I promised Daisy I get her this bag. But if I have to go down to the ATM machine, I got to walk 750 feet across the building, but 1,000 feet by the time you navigate. You can't just go downstairs. You got to go outside the building. You got to go around where the food stores are. They make you walk past the food stores to get to the ATM machine. And the ATM machines are only on one side of the building. So I have to walk 1,000 feet to get more dong, and then 1,000 feet back. But I have to pay $20 for a service fee for the ATM. I don't really want to pay, because now I'm paying more money for a service fee than I'm paying for the damn bags. $20, like $100 gets you 4 million dong. So I would have had to pay 25. I would have had to pay almost $20. I would have had to pay $20 for a service fee. So, but then I remembered I had pesos stashed. I had about 500 pesos stashed. So 100 pesos got me 20,000 dong. A dong is a good thing to have dong if you're in Vietnam. Anyway, that was a fun thing. A rookie mistake, says Jim Alva, handing out your dong. I should have checked before I let that woman have my dong. I should have checked. There's no doubt about it, Jim. I gotta tell you, it doesn't. But you don't understand. I asked the question: is there anything else I need if I give you 3.7 million dong? Anything else before I get? No, sir. She handed me the ticket. She goes, do you have a PCR test? You didn't tell me I needed that. Yes, sir, you need that. So, I mean, if you ask the question and the answer is no, she hands you the ticket, then she tells you need a PCR test. Is she stupid? Is she stupid, or did she screw you? Or did she not understand English? Or is all three? Or did she understand English perfectly well and screw you unintentionally. How do you know? Because they all did the same thing. 4 ticket agents, 4 people did the same thing to me. You like that one? Keep it where it is. I want to show the people, okay? This was another. I think this one was how many dong does it say inside the bag? What's the label on that?
170,000.
How much?
170.
170,000 dong. Look at this bag. 170,000 dong. Looks like an owl, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh,
You like that?
yeah. I like the design.
Very nice. 170,000 dong. Nothing's too good for my girl, Daisy May. Nothing. So, let me see that. I mean, come on, this is a deal. 170,000 dong. Look at this. Such a deal. Such a deal. So, let me go through the comments again.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much,
Michael
Fazio.
Pasio.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Ang tae.
And,
Ang tae.
okay. All right, so now, and now, wait, now, to get this stuff in the store. Okay, so I walk in the store looking for a purse to put change and coins in, pesos, bills, and coins. I walk in the store looking for that stuff, and I don't know what color. So I put on Facebook, and I showed Daisy options. Well, an hour in the store, standing up with a 25-pound backpack full of other stuff that I brought back and stuff that I brought there. I brought my Batman air conditioning system with me. I had a mask and a snorkel with me, but I didn't know that you can't go scuba diving in Vietnam. You can, but you have to take an airplane. Another airplane I would have had to get on. To go, you need an airplane to go to the islands of Vietnam to go scuba diving. It would have been about $700 with the hotel for one person. $700 for 3 days. But I was sick, so it didn't matter. I was sick, so sick I didn't go to the Mekong Delta because there was a lot of walking. So, Scott, big live stream explaining the ins and outs of travel from Bohol to Vietnam. That's tomorrow. I'm going to go through every mistake possible, but I'll do it a little faster. Tune in tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Tune in tomorrow for this epic explanation of how anything that can go wrong did go wrong. And the whole time, Scott Del Fuego was my confidant, my cohort in this unexplainable phenomenon that happened to me. You could not, and the whole time I'm going, how can I ask the ticket agent if there anything else, anything at all? And the answer is no. And she hands me the ticket and then says, you need a PCR. How is this possible? She knew I needed it. How is it possible that the person who sold me my tickets didn't know? How is it possible that 7 Bureau of Immigration people didn't know? How is it possible that when I wanted to leave Vietnam, the woman tells me I need an exit clearance? How is it possible when I'm in Bohol that when I'm leaving, I go to Bohol to Manila? How is it possible when I'm in Manila that I'm going to Saigon? The woman says, do you have a PCR test? Excuse me? I was told I don't need a PCR test. This is Murphy's Law again. Oh, no, sir, you need a PCR test. I said, to go to Saigon, I need a PCR test? Yes, sir. Where do I get that? In Makati Hospital. That's like an hour away by cab. Yes, sir. I'm going to miss my flight. Yes, sir. You buy another ticket. The guy behind me, he sticks his cell phone in front of where I'm standing. between me and the woman, because I'm at the counter. And he said, sir, you don't need a PCR test anymore to go to Vietnam. You need one to get out. But it's been canceled to get into Vietnam. You don't need a PCR test. But the woman at the counter didn't know that. And this is part of Murphy's Law. She didn't know you didn't need it. She was sending people to McCarthy Hospital to get a PCR test. Just people right in front of me had to go to, they went to McCarthy Hospital. I didn't know what their final destination was, but that's where they went to get a PCR test. So I said, ma'am, I didn't hear anything. The guy shows her the website. No longer do you need a PCR test to go to Vietnam. She goes, may I see that, sir? I look it up online. I Google the same name of the article. She grabs her supervisor. She shows her supervisor the article on the man's phone. The supervisor looks it up online. They give the man back his phone. The girl, the ticket agent, looks it up online. And then the manager of the whole arena, a man, really nice guy, man. God, this guy and another guy that fudged some paperwork for me. I'll tell you, I didn't ask him to. He did it. So let me have your papers. I'm not getting on the flight going back to Manila. I'm not getting on that flight. I'll tell you why tomorrow. I'm not getting on the flight. And there's no way I'm getting on the flight. I'm going to lose that ticket, and then I'm going to have to get something else to get back to Manila. Another $175 it's going to cost me. So I said, I just went through this with you. I'm not getting, where was I? Where was I? I forgot. This confusing. Where was I? I was in Vietnam? No. I'm trying to think. I was in so many different offices with so many different people. So many. What did I need? I needed I'm on the line after I get my negative results from my COVID test. I'm online. There's a different guy that fudged more paperwork. And this is Vietnamese Airlines, the guy, the manager, the whole of all the manager. He listened to my story about the tickets and how this was the third ticket that I bought. He was just there because he was just there. He was listening. I don't know why he was there, but it was. And he listened to the whole story, and then the woman says, do you have after you get to Manila, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Bohol. So she goes, let me see the ticket. So I says, it expired on the 19th of August. Oh, so you're not going to be able to go back. Not today, so. I said, why not? She goes, well, you need to have a throwaway ticket. Oh, I said, I have one of those. May I see that? Ah, sir, this is from Cebu Airlines. And this is, this one expired also. Yeah, but you don't have a Cebu ticket. Yes, sir. You'll have to call up your ticket agent and have them send you a new ticket. I said, but they won't open until 10 o'clock. Well, I wouldn't be able to get this done until by 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and the plane leaves at 9 o'clock. Yes, sir. You'll have to buy another ticket. And I'm going, but how could this be? This is 3 tickets. This is the 3rd ticket. Here's Cebu Pacific, Vietnamese Philippines Airlines, the Vietnamese Philippines Airlines, another ticket. How can this be? So the guy who's standing in the background listening, I'm looking at the guy. I don't know why he's looking at me, but he's looking at me. He goes, let me see the paperwork, sir. So I said, sir, he goes like this, puts his hand up because I understand. I heard the he spoke English. I heard the conversation. Just give me a moment, sir. And he did something. I don't know. Whatever he did something. And all of a sudden, that ticket that was no good, the throwaway ticket, became a usable throwaway ticket. I don't know how he did it, but he was managerial position, supervisory position. So the people, they want to help you. They just don't know how to do it. But when you get to the managers, every manager bent over backwards to get me back. Painful. I don't know. Painful. I mean, it wouldn't have. Wasn't my fault that the people who I asked the right questions to enough people to get the right answers. It wasn't. Honey, when you're done, could you give me water, please? It wasn't that I didn't ask all the right questions. I asked every right question and made it clear, is there anything else? And each time it came back negative, and each time as soon as I paid for it, there was another thing. So it was painful to know that the people that are trained to do the jobs in both the Philippines Airlines, Vietnamese Airlines, and Cebu Pacific Airlines in general don't know how to do their jobs. That was painful. But nobody did anything on purpose. They're just following these stringent regulations, which are ridiculous. They're absurd on their face. Would I go back to Vietnam? Someone asked me before. I would never go back to Vietnam. Never. Even if you said to me, you go to Saigon City, I'll pay for anything you want to do in Saigon City for 10 days. I would say, no, thank you. There's nothing to do there. It's a city. There is the LG factory. I did see that from the airlines. It might be in one of my videos from the big window wall. The LG factory that makes LG screens and air conditioning systems and refrigerators and washing machines. That's right. You look out the window of the Ho Chi Minh International Airport. That factory is right there. It's huge. But would I go back there? No. There's nothing to do there. I did 3 museums, and I asked Google if what else was there to do. There was nothing else that I wanted to do. And I thought somebody said, you can go scuba diving when you get to Vietnam. Yeah, from Ho Chi Minh City, I'd have to get on another airplane and fly someplace. It was $700 for a 3-day trip, 2.5-day trip. I would never go back. Don't sell yourself short. I've got more than enough dong. I had lots of dong in the. Oh, by the way, I got all my money back for the Mavic Mini 2 drone. I was reimbursed 33,000 pesos for that. 12,000 pesos for the battery. Wait a second. No. I don't think I got the money for the drone back yet. They still owe me 49,000 pesos. And there's still one payment short. I'm sure I'll get it back. But my bank account went up 50,000 pesos, which is the 34,000 for the drone and 12,000 for the battery. So it was 35 and 13. It would have been 48,000. Yeah, so I got back the money for the drone and the money for the battery. I didn't get the money for the phone. They still owe me 49,000 pesos. But I got from the 2 hardest places to get the money back from Lazada. I got that money back. They still owe me another 49,000 pesos. That's a good thing. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will and at the worst possible time. Oh, God. Well, the worst possible time in this case was 30 seconds after you pay for your ticket. That's the worst possible time they could tell you that you need something else, yeah? How much worse can it get? If she would have told me that 90 seconds before I gave her my dong, I wouldn't have gave her the dong. She'd have been dongless. I would not have given her the dong until I got the PCR test. I would have saved $175. And I would not have... And the aggravation. And then I gotta write this stuff down. There was so many other things that went wrong. This is just the beginning. Tomorrow I'm gonna have to... Daisy? Honey? I gotta get some water. Oh, here's water right here. She snuck it in behind me. Tomorrow I'll make notes. I'll be a little bit more excited. I'll be a little more excited. Right now I'm really tired. So I had a great breakfast this morning. I went to Nanai's house. I was greeted, everybody on the block knew I had gone to Vietnam. Because when I got my landlord owns a tricycle, I got him to give me a ride to the airport. He said, "Where you going?" I told him, "I'm going to Vietnam. I'll be back in 4 days." Okay, that's all. You know, I mean, he asked, of course I'm going to hire my landlord for my tricycle rides. And with that, everybody knew I was gone. Everybody. The word of mouth, the coconut telegraph, so to speak. So that was everybody. Hey, welcome back. You know, that kind of stuff. And like, you know, because they haven't seen me. And I left for 4.5 days. It took me 15 days to get back. That was a disaster. But I got to know. I got to learn about the culture of Vietnam. People are such sweethearts. They're just amazingly nice, kind, gentle people. And, honey, can I have that cold water, please? Yeah, they're just such gentle people. We had no business. If that's the kind of culture that we invaded, thank you. And that is the culture that we invaded. We invaded a peaceful, gentle race of people after the French did and after whoever else invaded Vietnam before the Americans. And then we went in there. Not we, but the American government. We had no business being there. There's nothing in Vietnam that we ended up with at the end of the day. It's a jungle. Or it was a jungle. And at no point can you ever, in history, ever explain why we were there in the first place, other than that they were playing with their weather modification equipment and their weapons of war. And people made trillions and trillions of dollars. There's no other reason. I mean, what's there? Nothing was there. It was a jungle. Was it a foothold? What they call a foothold on communism? No, it wasn't. That's what the press, that's what they said. It wasn't a foothold on communism. You know where Vietnam is in relationship to America? It's 1,000 miles away from the Philippines. So if Vietnam was somehow, and it's huge, it's a huge country. Part of China, you know, it's part of Cambodia, it's part of all this huge landmass. If they took over that segment of that continent that was already half communist, what difference would it have made? What was the next step? Would have been the Philippines. Okay, that's still 5,000 miles away from America. There's nothing in Vietnam that we wanted. They have no minerals that are of any real necessity that we can't get from Africa and Colombia and Venezuela and Mexico. They have no oil. They don't have any diamond mines. There was nothing in Vietnam that we needed. I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless there was some kind of thing that they had that they never told us about, but there was nothing. And the people there's no animosity towards Americans at all. Young and old people greet you with the same respect and dignity that they would treat anybody else. Every single person. I stopped to talk to people building pallets, and I stopped to talk to people making tapestry rugs. They have the warehouse open. I stopped to talk to people that I bought stuff off of street vendors, the pharmacy, the lady in the farm. Not one person was disrespectful or malicious, except the cab drivers. They were a bunch of thieving bastards. Every cab driver I ever met. I came back to the airport here. It doesn't matter. Cab drivers are the snakes. They're snakes. Now, I go all the way back from the city. All the way from the city. I come back with 5 boxes of water, 50 liters of water, and 20 kilos of food. Okay, so we're talking, I put 600 pounds in a tricycle, and I pay the driver 360 pesos. If I come back just by myself with just like 10 kilos of meat, I pay him 300 pesos. If I'm at the ICM, if I'm at the BQ, 250 pesos. That's what I pay. You'll pay 400 or 500, but I pay that because they know me and they see me walking down the block. They stop their tricycle right in the middle of traffic. Michael, what time are you leaving Bohol, the Tagbilaran? And I'll tell them, you meet me in front of in the back of the BQ Mall at 4:30. You be in back of the BQ Mall at 4:30. I take your ride home. They stop me at 9 o'clock in the morning. What time will you be? And they want me to go. They want to take me home because they know where I live, number one. And number two, they know they're going to get 250 pesos from the BQ, 300 from ICM. And if I have to make a stop at the BQ from ICM, they're getting 360. They want that. That's a good number for them. And I'm one person, 1.5 people. So the airport is 6 kilometers away. So I know how to get home from the airport. There's a bus that stops in the airport. Now, tricycle drivers are not allowed to go into the airport empty. They can go in with passengers, drop them off. But by law, they're not allowed to pick up passengers at the airport. They don't enforce that. But they can't get into the airport empty unless they're picking up a passenger. And they have to have that on their cell phone. Okay, so, but just for a tricycle to go to the airport, they're not allowed. They have to have some sort of proof that they're going to pick somebody up, a flight number and a name, and then they have to register. So I'm in the airport. There's a bus there. Bus stays there all day long. It comes every half hour, 45 minutes. You get out it. You walk out of the terminal. You get on the bus. The bus takes you to the main road. It used to be 20 pesos, but now it's 30 pesos. But there was tricycles there that drop people off. Now, they're not allowed to pick people up. They're not allowed to pick up passengers. So I said to one guy, you bring me to Dolho? Yes, sir. 400 pesos. And I said, no, I'll give you 200 pesos. No, sir, 400 pesos. Dolho is very far. So now I come all the way back from the city, 26 kilometers away, for 250 pesos. I'm only 6 kilometers away, so that's 1/4 of the distance. So I said, look, I'll give you 200. No, sir, 400 pesos. So I said, no, all right, I'll just get on the bus for 30 pesos. I'll go to the main road. I'll jump on a jeepney for 15 pesos. I'm home. Cost 45 pesos. Why would I want to spend 400 when I could spend 45 and walk a block? And it's all going to happen within an hour anyway. So as soon as any cab driver, any motorcycle driver that doesn't know you, they try to get you. In the city, from the hotel I was staying at to the airport, from the hotel I was staying at to the airport, this is no joke, $25,000. The girl, Nung, the hotel reservationist, Nung, at the hotel I stayed at, she says, I'll get you a grab for 25,000 pesos. It's 3 miles. It's not far. I'm going 25,000, that's all. Are you sure? Yes, sir, 25,000. So the cab comes, and she tells the driver, 25,000 dong. He goes, yes, okay. I get in the cab, and he yells out something to her, and she looks in the window. She goes, it's another 10,000. This is a lie, but she didn't lie. It's another 10,000 dong, which is another 15 cents. It's another 10,000 dong because of the airport fee. Entrance fee. But there is no entrance fee. I don't care. For 15 cents, I don't care. So now it's 40,000 dong. Okay, 40,000. Okay, let's go. I get to the airport. I give the guy 40,000 dong. That's what we agreed on at the hotel. Sir, 10,000 more. For what? We agreed on 40,000 dong. Sir, 10,000 more. And I gave him the 10,000 dong, another 15 cents. I'm not going to argue with somebody for 15 cents, but that's not the point. The point is, what I'm about to tell you is the truth. So now, legitimate price to the airport was 25,000 dong plus 15,000 dong entrance fee. That's 40,000 from the hotel to the airport. But when I got into Vietnam the first night I got there, the cab driver charged me 225,000 dong, 10 times the price to bring me a block away from where I started out at the hotel. $10 instead of $1, $10. And he told me he was going to bring me 8 kilometers away to the Vietnam War Weapons Museum, but he only brought me one and a half miles away, 3 kilometers. So they're thieves. Everywhere you go, cab drivers are thieves. That's true, Jim. Yeah, I really loved the people of Vietnam. They were the nicest, kindest, gentlest, sweetest people I ever met. I never met a culture of people way friendlier than Filipinos. And everywhere you went, they wanted to please you. I mean, the girl, Nung, didn't have to give me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know how they incorporated breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals, which would have been 75 to 90,000 dong in each meal. 3 meals a day, that's 250,000 dong in meals she was giving me when I was only paying her 400,000 dong a day. It sounds like a lot of dong, but 400,000 dong is $20. So then she was giving me $15 in food a day. So I think she just upgraded me to the food plan for free because we had so many great conversations. I don't know. But the restaurant gave me the free dragon fruit for dessert, and then they gave me a whole dragon fruit. I bought 5 heroes before I found that hotel. On the first day, I bought a hero, like a hoagie, 25,000 dong. And I said to the guy, wow, these were delicious. And I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't have a hotel yet. I said, give me 4 more. And instead of charging me 100,000 dong for the 4 more at 25,000 dong per hoagie, charged me 80,000 dong. I didn't ask him for a discount. He gave it to me. The soup, the place I had dinner several times, was a huge bowl of broth, delicious kind of egg roll with pork and chicken in it, vegetables, and what else was there? There was soup. There was vegetables, the pork roll, the lumpia, and soup. And in the soup, there were pork and chicken. So it was 5-course meal for 55,000 dong. And then they come out and give me free dessert and a dragon fruit for free. I don't ask for any. I didn't even want it. I was full. Everywhere I went. The lady, I bought some food because I knew I was going home. Well, I thought I was going home yesterday, but so I bought an egg hoagie, whatever they are. They're called some kind of chong thing. It's like a short hero, about a 7.5-inch long hoagie sandwich. I bought one. Oh, it was delicious. It was fresh farm egg, 1 fresh farm egg, 4 big slices of pickles about that long, about 5 inches long, vegetables, some sort of sauce, mayonnaise, and hot sauce on an Italian bread roll that's better than any New York Italian bread that you're ever going to get. So it was 25,000 dong. It's 25,000 dong is it's $1. Just call it $1. And so now I said to her, you know what? Give me 4 more, because now I'm going to get on a plane the next day, I think. And on the plane, they don't give you any food. There was no food on 3 of the 4 flights I was on. There was no food. So I got the extra heroes for the plane ride home, because the plane ride home was going to be a trip from Vietnam at... What time did I leave Vietnam? I get so confused. So confused. My flight from Vietnam was 9 o'clock in the morning from Vietnam to Manila. So I had, but I knew I would not make a connecting flight in Manila because the connecting flight would have been 3 o'clock. So, but my flight from Manila to Vietnam to Manila, the flight starts at 9. By the time you get off the plane, it would have been about 12:30. Now you're in a different airline hangar. You're in a different airport. So that's a half-hour trip. You're not in Manila Airport proper. You're in Vietnam Airport proper in Manila, but 5 miles away from Manila Airport. So that's a half-hour trip. It's a half hour to wait for the bus. Turned out like that. So I'm just figuring I'm going to miss the 3 o'clock flight. And I did. So the lady who I bought the sandwiches from, the egg sandwiches with the hot sauce and the pickles, I bought 4 more. Should have been 100,000 dong. I handed her 100,000 dong. I mean, and I start to walk away. Sir, She didn't say sir, but she made a noise. They don't speak English. And I turned around, she had 20,000 dong in her hand, change. I said, but I bought 400,000. No, sir. 80,000 dong. No. She didn't say no, sir, because they don't speak English. You'll see, I made a video of her. I got a video of her making the 4 hoagies. But, yeah, I don't ask for any discount ever, and they all gave me something for free. I don't know. It's their culture to be giving, nurturing, and giving. They reminded me of Daisy May. She doesn't do anything without wanting to do something for me all day long. When I was away, she took care of so many little incidental things. She's an amazing girl. Where's Mike? I'm gonna sign off here because Jim Alva says maybe all these delays was a blessing in disguise. Had you been able to make your return trip, you wouldn't have had a chance to appreciate the Vietnamese culture. That's true. And I would not have had a chance to see what we spent trillions of dollars and 68.5 thousand lives and how many 100,000 limbs, fingers, and feet. For what reason? For no reason at all. I would not have had. There's nothing in Vietnam. There's nothing there. Saigon, when you look at a map, when I flew over it, when we flew out, honey, can I have some more cold water, please? When I flew out, there's nothing but jungle. The industry in the city of Saigon proper, that all happened after Vietnam. Saigon was a jungle 50 years ago. Thank you. Saigon was just a jungle. We spent trillions of dollars and killed millions of their people and 68,500 Americans, and the same for Russia and the same for the French, and we won nothing. And for no reason. There's nothing there. We didn't gain any oil. We didn't gain it. They just went in to play with their weapons. It's sick. It's sick. That part I appreciate more than anything else. That much I learned about their culture. And tomorrow I'll talk to you about the Vietnam War Weapons Museum from the Americans and what they had and how they treated those people. Whatever you heard about the people, the way the Vietnamese treated the American soldiers for invading their country, by the way, whatever you heard about that, we did worse, way worse. It's in the War Weapons Museum in video format and in actual items that they show you how they treated those people. Very sad. Very sad. You wouldn't believe some of the things that the Americans did to the prisoners of war of Vietnam. You would not believe it. You're reading the placard. They're showing you the items of how they treated. You wouldn't believe it. You'd say, no, this can't be possible. America? Really? No, we wouldn't do that, but we did. Tomorrow I'm going to shock you all about the War Weapons Museum and what's in there. It was crazy. It was just insane stuff. And they didn't even tell you about Agent Orange. The defoliation agent that caused cancer in millions and millions of people that went throughout Vietnam, in Vietnamese, South Vietnam, North Vietnamese, and Americans and Russians and whoever else was there, the French. Millions of people got cancer from that. They didn't even talk about that. We went into it. We had no business in Vietnam. I never believed we did, but now I know for a fact we did not. There's nothing there. Nothing. The beaches that are there, you need an airplane that takes you an hour to get there from Saigon City. The Vietnam War was around in that area of Saigon and Cambodia. It's hundreds of miles from any kind of beautiful beach. It's crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. And thanks very much for your patience, because tomorrow I'll have a good show. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And then I'll talk about the incompetence of the people of both the Philippines and their prospective jobs, Vietnamese and their prospective jobs, and cab drivers, and they are just, why can't you get into a cab for 25,000 dong, which is what we agreed, goes to 40, and then it goes to 50 for no reason. So it doubled in price. Well, did anybody get double salary this week? So Daisy wants to go next door to the. We're gonna go. I'm Pink Permy from Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. And of course, I'm Pink Permy means take care always. Bye bye for now, guys. See you tomorrow. I'm gonna start my live stream early, about 8 o'clock. You guys want to come? Bye bye. Thanks. I'm Pink. From the Philippines, baby. That's right. That's right.